that we live in, with its majestic mountains and its beautiful, pristine rivers and the desert skies and the planets, stars, the fresh air that we breathe, the species of animals that inhabit our earth, the plants and the fauna, the foliage that give oxygen and air for us to breathe, is a unique and delicate balance, and it keeps us sustaining life. We're living in a time of extremes, and the extremities that are being created are both a reflection of an old consciousness that can no longer survive in a future, and the earth itself wanting to transform herself. And because everything is moving towards extremes, many of the current systems, whether it's political or economic, religious, educational, medical, the environment, are all being pulled apart in certain ways. Some of it is a reflection of human beings' choices and their own personal levels of awareness. And I believe that we are more than just material beings, matter, bodies, particles. But there's an element of us that connects us to a field of intelligence that unifies us to one another and to everything and everyone. And that the emotions that put us in survival, like hatred, and prejudice, and anger, and fear, and competition, and pain, and separation, are all the things that seduce us into believing that we're separate from this field. And yet, light and information, energy and consciousness or awareness can't be separated. And we are more than just physical beings. That we have a field of energy that we have access to. The Earth has its own electromagnetic field, has its own field of information that we draw off of, that we live with, in harmony or out of harmony. And we now know that when you begin to raise your energy and open your heart, that you produce a bigger electromagnetic field. We know that when you have that energy causing the field around your body to expand, that frequency or energy carries information. And you can direct that energy. And that energy exists beyond the senses. And it allows us to begin to affect matter and all the things that are a downward causation of it, materialism. And that in order for us to begin to make an effect on this world, we have to come from a place of love. And this unified field that quantum physics has struggled to measure and quantify, to me, is a loving intelligence and intelligent love. And it exists beyond the senses. And the way that we have access to it is when we get beyond ourselves and become an awareness, a consciousness, a thought, in a realm that exists beyond the senses. And so, when we do this meditation, for everybody in this room and for everybody that's watching, it's going to require you to open your heart and to raise your energy. And if you do it properly, it will produce a coherent electromagnetic signature, which will begin to entrain everyone and everything that you're in contact with. And as you know, there's been enough studies on peace gathering to reduce crime and violence and war and strife and struggle and to increase economic growth. And it's up to us then, when we change our energy, with a greater level of awareness that it should begin to unify communities that were once separate, believing that they matter. And I think that if enough people do it, and we do it enough times, we should be able to not only measure the changes in energy and frequency around the world, but we should be able to measure it by changes in all the events that take place in our future.